It's the real word. It's the real word. It's the real word. It's the real word.
We on a mission and that's bringing y'all the truth. You know the problem, but we get into the root. The devil watching, yeah, he always on pursuit. But Jesus is our rock, so we shall not be moved. We on a winning team, so we can't lose. We say facts, cause we hitting y'all with proof. Started from the bottom, now we standing on the roof. As God as our witness, we gon' make it to the moon. When you want the truth, the world be hiding it. This the real word, we providing it. We got Acee, BK, Truth, Rick Star, and we plan to make a movie like it's Pixar. We came a long way from the plantation. We just tryna save your souls from damnation. So if you down with the message, tune in every week. It will lead you to the message that you seek.
It's the real word. It's the real word. It's the real word. It's the real word.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Real Word Season 6. Shout out to everybody that's been watching. Shout out to everybody that's been supporting. Shout out to everybody that watched last week's episode. We did 71,000 views on that episode. That's the most we ever had, and that pushes us to over 3 million total views between the YouTube, the Facebook, and everything else. We have over 3 million views. So we thank you all for supporting. We thank you all for helping us to get this far so far. And also shout out to the Brick Network. We met a couple of the workers at the Brick Network. They said that the show will be popping on the network. So shout out to the Brick Network. We're on TV every Thursday at 1 p.m., 4 p.m., and 12 noon. So check us out at 12 noon, 1 a.m., and 4 p.m. every Tuesday and Thursday. Fridays, the reruns. Also check us out on YouTube, The Real Word TV, one word. That's The Real Word TV, one word on YouTube. At The Real Word Ministries Inc. on Instagram. At The Real Word Ministries Inc. on Instagram. And The Real Word Podcast on Spotify, Soundcloud, Apple, and Pandora. So you can check us out every day. Everywhere. So I'm here with my co-host. Introduce yourself.
Already knows the one and only AI in the building. Add me on Instagram, Acee, Irving 11, no 11, no bueno.
This is your boy, the man, Crown Heights, Tom Hagen. Salute to each and every one of y'all. Much love.
One and only man.
So shout out. We also got a very special guest in the building. He's here for the first time. Introduce yourself, gentlemen.
See, I got y'all own stuff going. I gotta have my own stuff too. What's up, family? It's your boy, your nephew, Bervens, and I'm here with the boys. My first time. My son Rick. Thank you, man, for having me, bro, and I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, man, no problem. Yeah. So we thank all you for being here today. There's a couple hot topics that is going on right now. I guess the biggest elephant in the room is the second impeachment on Donald Trump. So what you guys think about that, first of all? It's a waste of time, or?
Yeah, it's a waste of time.
I'm not surprised.
I think tomorrow. I mean, today's what, to the 17th or 18th?
I think today's the 17th.
Yeah. So a lot of people.
The 18th, 2 more days.
If they was gonna get rid of Donald Trump when he first got impeached, why they get rid of him?
Because of the mere fact that the majority of the believe the Senate is Republicans. That's pretty much just what it is.
Okay. It's because my boys are Dawn.
The Golden Dawn.
Yeah.
So besides that,
I'm gonna take the other Dawn.
They're preparing for a lot of violence coming at not only the state capitol but all state capitals. We see a lot of police, military, and they're all in their riot gear preparing. I guess because the last time they fumbled the ball so bad that they got to act like they prepared this time. What do you guys think about that? Do you think it really is going to be an all-out war that they claim that's coming on the inauguration date, or you think it's all BS?
I think it's really going to happen.
Me personally, I think they doing this all for show. You feel me? Because I know, they have this system where they like to create the chaos. So it's like they give you a story. You know, like how when rumors go around, you spread a rumor, then you hear somebody say this about you. It could be true or false, but it got you riled up, so you could create an action. And then once you create that action, and then what would happen? You most likely get suspended, right? So I feel like it's something like that.
And that's mainly because a lot of people, they operate based on emotion.
Yeah.
And they operate based on fear.
Yeah. So they have a psychological.
So you guys think they're like looking for attention or something?
I don't think so. A police officer got killed.
I think it's
You know what I'm saying? A police officer got killed.
It's
That's not even like that's something serious that happened. People's lives were threatened.
Yeah, but
people
look,
got hurt.
You talk about police.
I'm talking about in regards to the Capitol, the situation, what happened to the Capitol. I'm talking about like we're not been dealing with black lives. We're talking about what happened in the Capitol. So basically, in regards to that situation,
police got their own candidate too.
I'm just saying my piece, bro. I'm just saying my piece.
Nah, I'm just asking you.
You know what I'm saying?
Just let me finish your story and then you can
Just finish my thought, bro. So the thing is that, in regards to that, like, you know what I'm saying, people, those are real people who came in, people felt threatened, people felt that their lives were in danger. White supremacy is the problem, white supremacy is the root, and that's what it is. And from the time Trump has been president, there's been a lot of reckless things that he's been saying, a lot of reckless things that he's been doing, and he's been just stemming, pushing the fire.
Yeah.
You know, there's things that, you know, he's done good for people, and I'm not negating that because there are people who like Trump, you know what I'm saying, but there's things that he's been doing very reckless, out of touch, very disrespectful, coming at people's faces, and just crossing the line. And I know for a fact that if Barack Obama did what he did, that situation would have been handled quick. But because he's a white man, it is what it is.
I don't think
That
Obama
wasn't
would
his
have that
job
level
to do.
of power.
That was his job too.
What you mean?
As in, like, every president that gets elected, because what do we say about politics? In politics, everything happens for a reason. I said, all of this happened way before we was born. So everything was basically written before we was born of what was gonna happen. So like for every president, like they know, just like how on election day, right? We all know presidents get elected way ahead of time. We, the American people, you see it on TV the day of the election. But we all know everybody that go up on that stage, they do their whole talk back and forth. They already know who win. They all know. But they all get paid to do a job. And they get paid well, so they keep their mouth shut. So if you get paid, because that's how it really works.
So yeah, I honestly felt that the vibe that I got from last year's election was Trump was gonna win. I mean, to each his own. You know what I'm saying?
It did look like Trump win, and then mad states flipped. They flipped in the middle of the night. This was the longest election that I've personally ever seen in my lifetime, and this is the first time I've seen states flip, like where it was almost done at 90-something%, and they flipped red to blue. So like,
Yeah, people was just tired.
It's a new world order.
well, I don't know. Some people are saying it's voter fraud. Some people say that's cap. I personally think that I think it's deeper than white supremacy. I don't think all those people that marched down was all white supremacists, because there were black people amongst that crowd too.
That was indoctrinated.
No,
To each his
I
own.
wouldn't say that.
To each his own.
I feel like they see it from their perspective, and it is possible for one person to be for a person to be right and another person to be wrong at the same time about the same subject, depending on their perspective of it and who believes that. Meaning, I could be completely wrong, but if 100 people believe me, then they're gonna believe I'm right.
No, you're right.
And we see that throughout history. Perfect example: Adolf Hitler. Millions of people followed him.
Yeah.
Over 100, close to 100,000, a couple thousand.
But the signs were out there. It's just that people failed to ignore, and people failed to really speak against it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, I didn't vote for Donald Trump. That's not my guy. That's not my president.
So who you was on?
I wanted Bernie to win, and I think I said my stance many times on the
What was
show.
your reason?
I just said my stance many times. It's just that for me, this is how I feel. We may feel different. That's how everybody feel. But for me, that's what I feel. You know what I'm saying? So
You felt the burn?
I just like the way he's. I like this. I just like what he
You feel like
represents
you would have been different?
and what he does. It's just my personal opinion.
You feel like he would have been the actual Barack
I just
Obama?
felt just different. I just based on what he's done, just laws that he has signed. That's just my personal opinion. That's
So what do you think he has that Biden doesn't have?
Well, because Biden has history. Biden has done things that has been off in regards to incarcerating. You say something, because I don't want to cut you off, bro.
Nah, I was just
You know
gonna
what I'm
say
saying?
name some stuff he did.
You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about like in regards to
The crime bill?
the crime bill that was off and everything like that, and certain comments.
And
that
he
was
is
off as well,
racist.
too, you feel me?
If you don't vote for me, then you ain't black. You remember that?
Yeah, I understand. You feel me? It's the less of two evils. But like I said, me personally, I feel more comfortable with Biden, and I just feel like, excuse me?
Aren't you black?
Yes, I am black, and I didn't vote for Trump, but that's just my personal opinion, bro. Like how you have your own personal opinion. Everybody has their opinions. It's okay. Everybody got their opinions, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, right?
I'm good. Yeah, bro. So, yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. It's just, for me. So the thing is, at the end of the day, like, for me, it's just my personal conviction on how I feel. You know what I'm saying? Based on what, you know what I'm saying? It's each his own. Like, the people who are racist, that's their opinion. That's how they feel. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
But do you guys really think that it's going to be anarchy?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think a lot of people. I think people who will try, they're gonna get aside. They're gonna get killed. Let them try.
I feel like it's going down somehow. Like,
yeah, regardless,
they're gonna get hit because they doubled up the army, right?
Yeah,
the military inside the capital.
20,000.
So it might happen. You know, things are just gonna go. You know, they're gonna go left.
Mm-hmm.
They army been prepared though.
Yeah.
They just waiting you to make the move first.
Yeah.
So it's like they create the chaos. Then the people. If you react the wrong way. It rubs your skin the wrong way. Now you go out, buy a gun, start shooting. What happens? Military, they come in.
Yeah, but when they started, they took it easy on them, though.
They did take it easy on them.
They're not trying to do white on white crime, bro.
But that's the situation. That's what occurred. A large amount of white people stormed inside the Capitol, which is footage and there's evidence that they came inside trying to do what they can to assassinate or to hurt or to injure political figures because they was making a vote on basically stamping the approval that Joe Biden was going to win when there was evidence that he was going to win regardless. It is what it is. It is what it is, bro. You feel me? Like we gotta for me, came mocking, doing stupid things, breaking, all that. It was the majority was white people, white supremacists or white terrorists who was doing that. And that's the evidence and that's what it is, bro. Like it wasn't Black Lives Matter, it wasn't black socialists, it was white crackers who was doing that. That's what it is, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's what it
I got
is.
one question for you, right? So you say white crackers came inside.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we all been to Washington D.C. at least once.
I
All of
haven't
us
been.
in this room.
Yeah,
But let's just say we haven't all been, but a lot of people have. And me, I know personally, I've been to Washington D.C. at least like twice, probably 3 times. I don't know which one, but I know I've been there twice at least. We've been on trips and all that. I've been to the Capitol and all that. I know the Capitol, anything around the White House. I know that like their security is very tight. So it's like everybody that be coming to the White House to visit and all that, like all the different parts. It's very hard for you to do certain things.
It was in the White House that was attacked, bro. It was the
Capitol. It was in the
Capitol.
White House. It's
Yeah.
the Capitol, but I don't think the Capitol security that soft. That's what I'm basically trying to say.
I think they
Who do you work for?
I think
You
they
work for the United States government.
I think
And
they
you know-
expect to, because people can protest. I think they expect.
There's no fence around the Capitol because the
Yeah,
Capitol's
I
supposed
think
to be
they
the
expect that.
Me personally, there doesn't have to be no fence. I know if you work for the United States government and you work for them, security is tight.
I think they
If
expect.
things happen, it's cause me personally, I know their security tight. So if people are just randomly, or hundreds of group of people could just randomly just pull up, that sounds like fishy.
So you think it's like some kind of like inside call, inside
yeah,
job?
like inside job. Sounds fishy to me.
The
like,
FBI already said it was an inside job.
for real.
The FBI said that a couple days earlier there were Congress people that was leading private tours and showing people where certain offices and rooms were.
Yeah, the evidence right in the pudding. So it's like
Yeah.
it's all made for script. So it's like they just like how you just said. It was white hackers that just pull up. It's like
White supremacists.
They wrote the script pretty well. You feel what I'm trying to say?
There's probably gonna be a movie about this one day, right?
It's like it's the psychological warfare they play. They're like, all right, we gonna put this in the script. The white crackers, and we know what you gonna do to black. You gonna get emotional, get your feelings, and then what you gonna do instead of actually trying to do right? Hell, you just go back out the gun, and then you start shooting and all that, and then what happens? You get locked up.
We're gonna have a 2-year movie script written from 2020 to 2021.
I wouldn't call it The Purge, but maybe
It's not gonna be a documentary.
it's gonna be a pre-purge.
I know, it's not gonna be no documentary. It's like 2020 happened.
We ain't seen nothing real crazy yet. I don't think
Man, like I said, it's not our fight, man. It is what it is.
Just like my Haitian folks, I'm going to Haiti.
so. It's depopulation. I mean, all of this is depopulation, though, man.
So let me ask you guys a question, right? Besides all that, because we see the trickle down effect, just like how it affected kids in school, who's gonna grow up knowing only remote learning, is affect people in jobs. A lot of people are working remotely. A lot of people lost jobs. But us being in a room, being religious, it has affected church, obviously, and it's not only has affected church, it's also affected the youth, the church members. A lot of them are losing faith. Well, they were already losing faith in the church, already losing faith in the pastor, already losing faith.
Some never really had faith.
Some never really had faith.
It was like a job for them.
So
fashion show, you could say.
we see a lot of people, you know, in a sense fell off. A lot of people's faith was tested, and you know, a lot of people unfortunately didn't pass the test. So you guys, speaking from a youth or a young adult point of view, how has this situation in the last year affected you personally, or your viewpoint on church and religion? Let's start with one person at a time. Let's start with you.
All right. Well, I'll start like this. I grew up in church, born and raised, you know, SDA even, if you want to put that out there. So, you know, I've been a Christian my whole life. And all these things, even myself, I got to the point where, like, I'll be honest and say I lost faith, you know, somehow. I was like, man, like, what's going on? But it really, I had to take the time and be like, I gotta make a difference, you know. I gotta like pick myself up and really go to God and be like, okay, God, what are you gonna do about this? What's the situation? Now, if I don't see it being solved, now God has in fact increased my faith, you know, and allowing me to actually say, okay, you know, I'll continue to trust and help people out. Like, it's been a very traumatic experience. Yeah, it's been really tough, but yeah.
Well, I mean, for me, you know, it didn't really change my perspective, because I mean, like I said, like I left college probably, I think, like 21. So then when I left college, that's when I really started studying the Bible and stuff more. So it's like, it didn't really make me lose more faith in the church or look at it in a different view, because I always personally felt like from growing up in the SDA, like from the church, from going to church and all that stuff, I always felt like the devil was always mainly in the church. That's where it always started for me. Like, cause I ain't gonna say nothing, but I know I've seen things with my eyes, hear things, know some truths, and I'd be like, yeah, the devil's really in the church. So I don't really be surprised, but at the same time, when people realize the devil's in the church, that's what make them, you know, lose faith and feel like, oh, this is all BS, this is all for show. So, I mean, for me, did I really lose faith? Nah, I wouldn't say I lost faith. For me, it just like completes it's just basically showing that everything I've studied before this whole COVID and all that stuff, it just shows that everything I study is true. So it's like, when I speak on things, I just tell people like, you don't gotta believe me, but when it happened, I'm gonna just tell you I told you so. You feel me? So it's like, this is not all a surprise to me, because I study on things like this.
So things are unfolding right now.
Yeah, that's basically what it is for me. It's just like, oh shit, oh my bad. Just like, all the things I've studied is just like, wow. It's like I'm reading ahead of time before it happens. So it's like, if the people that reads about it and they will know things that will happen ahead of time, it wouldn't be a surprise to them. But you know, people that don't do their studies and stuff, they be like, oh my God, they might freak out, act like, oh my God, the world's ending and all that. It's like, no, it's not. We're not even near that part yet. We are, but it's not there yet.
Just a little taste.
Yeah, just a little taste. And it's showing that a lot of people is not built for this.
Not too good. What you think, Pastor?
Man, accountability is key. I think the reason why a lot of people lost their faith in church is because people are not accountable for each other and not holding down each other. You know, church is more than just coming to a building. We are the church, and you know, unfortunately, it makes you wonder what is the remnant, what is not the remnant. You know, shout out to every pastor and every church that is not of the Seventh Adventist denomination that actually stepped their game up, that actually held people down. You know, a lot of good pastors out here, Sunday pastors, really held it down for a lot of people. Made sure that people had groceries, you know what I'm saying, food to eat, paid for people's rent, looked out for people. A lot of churches really held people down. And shout out to a few SDA churches who actually held it down too. You know, check up on their members, call their members. And for those who did it, I don't know what to tell you, bro. Like, you can't train a mature adult who call himself a Christian how to love or how to be loyal. You can't. You just can't. It gotta just be within. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of factors deals with the relationship with God. Because if you don't love yourself, you don't love God. How you expect a person to love you and to treat you the way they would want to be treated when they don't even value themselves? So shout out to every pastor, every church that has given back to the community. And I remembered, I think November. Yeah, it was November. I went down, and I want to shout out Dr. Carlton Bird. Before COVID, he would always give groceries, 1,000 families, groceries to families who are in need, and he doubled it. You know, with Jamal Bryant too, he doubled it as well too. So shout out to every pastor, every leader, every youth director who have done their part in regards to reaching out to people in the community and edify people in the church. And those who don't, I don't know what to tell you. There's people who will not come to that church anymore, because at the end of the day, a church is a body of people who comes together, build each other, support each other, encourage each other. Those who are about the work, praise God. Like, people, it's gonna be doubled. People's gonna have more members at their church. You said your piece. Can I say my piece?
Alright, just
You feel me? I'm just saying my piece. Yeah, like, tell them, bro. Like,
go ahead. Just finish, and then I'll go, and then he can.
So the thing is that, you feel me? Like, that's what it's about. It's about coming together, building each other, encouraging each other, supporting each other, loving each other. That's what it's about.
Have your faith been tested?
No, my test has been solidified. It is what it is. The Bible has told us numerous times what was gonna happen. This was gonna happen. Has been warned, and it's been more solidified of what needs to be done, and that is to give back and spread love to the community.
For me, honestly, I could say that it has affected me in many ways. In regards to my faith on a personal level, like last year, I lost my grandmother. She died, and you know, even during quarantine, the way things were at her funeral, the way people were behaving, as in like people came to the funeral, but no one wanted you to touch them or wanted to be too close. They even let us get out the car to like throw roses or dirt on the casket. And you know, it was just a long year. You know, we had to keep the kids inside for a little bit, and was able to take them to the park, and you know, a lot of different things. Church being closed did impact me personally a lot, because I personally grew up in the church and been in the church for so long, and then on top of that, just overall, the church for me was always like a reset button. Like during the week when I'm going through all the stuff, different hardships, I'm able to go to church and just relax and recharge for the week. And it got to a point where I didn't want to preach anymore, but then church just kept calling me to preach, and then I kept getting calls, and it got to a point where sometimes, even your church, they called me last year too, right?
Yeah. Called you, yeah.
And I said it before I said the sermon. I said I didn't start working on the sermon till the night before, because sometimes when people call me to preach, most of the time, like, I want to say no, but I don't want to cast my pearls to the swine. Like, I don't want to bury my talents and then say no, and then there's so much impact I could do by just lending my voice, you know, giving on the word and applying the word to real life. So that's why whenever I'm invited, I never say no. Like I always show up and I do my best. But it's like sometimes I feel like I'm standing on one leg and I'm still trying to stand just because of what I feel like I stand for at this point, you know? And so much people folded where it's to the point where, damn, like I have no choice but to stand up, you know? And I wrote it on the Facebook Instagram post where I'm standing with my back against the wall, and I said, even if I'm the only one still standing here, I'm still gonna stand up, because if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And for the last 5.5 years, going on 6 years, I've been in this ministry. Like, has it gotten hard? Yes. Like, me being a youth leader for the last 5.5 years, I've seen the youth fall off. I've seen the youth fall back. I've seen the disappearance of youth. I know a lot of people going through personal things and their homes and their families. Like, a lot of people moved away to different states, to different countries. A lot of things are going on. Like, people that didn't have secure jobs or whatever that they had prior to this, like, they're suffering, you know? And some people, like, even if they're not suffering financially, they might be suffering emotionally. Some people not suffering emotionally, they're suffering mentally. Some people suffering spiritually. There's a lot of different things that people are going through. Sometimes just to wake up and go outside and you see everyone wear a mask on, it's weird. Like, the other day I was at work and my daughter called me FaceTime and I had a mask on. She goes, and I'm like, you know, like, this is... I know it's bugging out the kids, you know, because even me as an adult, it bugs me out.
Yeah, for sure.
And imagine you being told your whole life, yeah, Jesus is there, Jesus is coming, God is there, God's looking after us, and then you look out the window and you see all of this, and you start to question, where is God? And I preached this in my sermon last Saturday, and I said that for me, being someone that's so involved in church, you know, on a local level, on an executive level, on a conference level, and even having my own ministry, like, and I said this in an interview I did recently, like, I feel like giving up every day. Like, I'm not gonna sit out here and say, like, it's been easy, it's been a walk in the park, oh, this is great, I love it. Like, no. Jesus Christ said it, be wary. When they said, let us follow you, like, we want to follow you, he said, be wary, for the fowls of the air have nests and the fox of the ground have holes, but the Son of God has no place to lay his head. Like, it was never an easy journey to choose to be a Christian or to follow God. Just look at the lives of everyone that chose to follow God. They had it the hardest. The hardest. So it's like, this is what you signed up for. Like, this is what you signed up for. This is what you was chosen to do.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so that's how I see my calling, that I was chosen to do this. And it's like, I can't negotiate with God on what I have to do according to his will. So even when I pray, I said, may his will be done. You know, if it be thy will, not mine, but his, because, you know, it's real out here.
Yeah, straight up. See, even myself in May, I think late April, early May, I lost 3 people. Like 3 of my family members, like cousins and uncles.
All to COVID?
Well, we had to go into COVID, but they had like previous medical histories. Mm-hmm. But, you know, they caught COVID, which, you know, kind of targeted their sickness, what they were dealing with. But, like, I'm a youth leader. I'm someone who's very active in church. And like he said, even, you know, conference, I'm a coordinator with the coordinator conference. Yeah. Now, I look at it, I'm like, man, this has been a really rough year. And it was so bad that I wrote a poem, and I, like, there was curses in it and everything. Yeah. And I'm like, this is how I feel right now. Like, I don't feel like that guy that's like behind that pulpit preaching that gets called. I'm not feeling that guy right now. Man. And which also reminds me, like, when Jesus had that miracle at the wedding, when they're like, Jesus was there, but somehow 30 years before that they met Jesus, but he was there, they did not recognize who he was. Because at this moment they were going through some really tough moment because the wine was out, had ran out. That's a fact. You know, so with all that, I felt like my wine had ran out. I felt like Jesus was not there, even when I called. Like, it's like he was sitting there laughing at me. Mm-hmm. You know, but again, I had to regain courage and say, "Yo, okay, the battle's not over. It's a fact. You know, these were they're gone. Now it's my time to either continue legacy or continue to just keep on pushing."
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
So what can we do to not only help ourselves but help others whose faith is dwindling at this time? What can we do as leaders? Because we all here leaders to some degree.
Yeah.
I mean, we could all start off by saying, each day you wake up, that's a new opportunity to make changes. You feel me? So that's step one we could start off with.
Man, I think consistency is key, man. Gotta just be consistent. I think what you're doing is phenomenal. Like I said, man, shout out to all the leaders, you know, who are really out here, really in the trenches, really building people. I think consistency is key. I think, I know consistency is key. Being a man of your word and just staying true to who God has called you to be. That's the best thing that you need to do, you know, especially in these times, because it's real out here, man. It's really real out here. So that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because last year taught you a lot, you know. Last year taught you, you know, these, you know, when COVID hit, you know, from, you know, Kobe died in January, Pops moved down in February, exactly on my birthday. Then March, this thing happened. It's taught you, you know, what it's taught me is the people that's gonna be in your life is gonna be in your life, and those who don't, they're not. And you know, be grateful for those who are taking the time to really look out for you and make sure that you're good. And last year was a wonderful lesson in regards for those who was in my life being there for me, and just losing my best friend from gun violence who got killed by his wife. It's just you know,
R.I.P. to Macho.
Means a lot. So, you know, so gotta be grateful for the people that's been in your life and don't take them for granted.
Yeah, you know, everything in life happens for a reason. So I don't think, you know, like how when we all be feeling like we missing out on something, I don't think we ever really do miss out on anything. Because if you were supposed to be there, you were supposed to be there.
So you think everything that's going on is happening intentionally?
Yeah, because I mean, we all read about it in the Bible. I mean, I think certain people, the way they read the Bible, I don't think certain people know how to read the Bible the proper way. Because it's like, the Bible literally tells us all of these things are going to happen. They don't literally say in the Bible, oh yeah, COVID is going to come, this is going to come. They don't write it that way. They write it in a different writing, but it's still telling you for things like this that's coming, because COVID is clearly a virus. They tell you about all of this.
But do you guys think it's safe though to like relate everything to the Bible?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that when you read your Bible and it's syntax. You read Hebrew, you read Greek, you read Aramaic. So in regards to like plagues, like that's part of it too. I mean, the if you really study your Bible, not read it, study your Bible, you understand that certain things need to happen for the Lord Yeshua to come back. I mean, it's plain in sight. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's really in its context and everything.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That's why they say. That's why it says that like a lot of people not gonna get saved, because one of the reasons why a lot of people not gonna be saved is because you can have a Bible just like how you have a phone. You have a phone, and the phone can't use itself. Somebody else gotta use it. So it's like when it comes to the Bible, it's like everybody can read the Bible, but the Bible is just like how they always say. It's like God is the creator of all things, right? Mm-hmm. And then man got the freedom of God to choose what they want to do. So you basically use the Bible to use it for evil or good. And a lot of people be using it for evil because they basically give the message in their own word. And one of their own words I don't like people use it is the tithes and offerings. You feel me? Like they use this tithe and offering thing, but it's like they use it like in a business perspective, like the U.S. government. And last time I checked, when did God do a contract or a business with the U.S. government? You get what I'm saying? I personally don't like this whole tithe and offering thing. It's because I read the Bible. They like to hit you with these quotes. They be like, yes, if you don't give your tithe and offering, you go to burn in hell.
Well,
like, you see what I mean?
I
like,
swear
the way they use it like that is like, it's like an evil man But it says of giving it the proper way. It's like, because certain people, they can read the Bible and they can manipulate people. So, and the way they would do it is like, they would just read quotes, but they would read it in isolation.
I see where you're coming from, but wait, you finished?
Yeah.
I see where you're coming from. Tithes and offering, I think, yes, many people, either pastors or leaders, whatever, they may use it for their own, reasons, to just do their own things, for their own benefits, which I do agree with you. However, where I'm gonna kind of disagree is we need the tithes and offerings.
But it gets used for the wrong things. I'm not saying tithe and offering is not good, but the hands that the tithe and offerings go to is, I feel like it'd be the wrong hand.
But what are some reasons though? Like what, the wrong reasons?
I mean, for one example, it's like, all right, boom. So you have a church, right? You get tithes and offerings for 2-3 years, and then they keep telling you, yo, we gonna get a new church. We gonna get a new church, right? And it's like they've been feeding you the same bowl for let's say 5-6 years, and each week you come and give tithe and offerings, and let's say certain churches each week they'll tell you how much money this department they put bread into. So it's like, if you was a real math person and you would just calculate on the bread of 5-6 years, and them keep saying, yeah, we're still looking for the church. It's like, yo, where's the church? You accumulated all this bread. Yeah. Where's the church?
That's what the leadership, man.
That's what I'm saying. I don't got nothing wrong against tithe and offering. If it's gonna get used the proper way to help the community give back, I'm all for that. But me personally, I just don't feel like just giving random people my money I don't personally know like that.
No, I hear that.
To basically give back to the community, because I know I do my studies and stuff, and I know there's a lot of big corporations out here. I ain't gonna spot no names out, but that literally you'll fund to them, give them bread, and they would not give back. Just like how when Haiti had the earthquake, it's like people gave all this bread, but why is Haiti like this still? Yeah. You feel what I'm trying to say?
Now I hear that. I think with all the tithe and offering thing, it's the message behind it. Who's delivering that message saying, if you don't tithe, you're going to hell. God will not bless you. Now, the whole thing about tithe, it's God's not asking you, yo, I need your money. Mm-hmm. Well, although the bills got to be paid, the church bills and all that stuff, they got to be paid. Now, like I said, the message behind it is, what's it called? They will tell you, okay, you got to pay. But the thing is, God says that, I will bless you. If you do this, I will bless you. It's not like, if you don't do it, you're going to hell. It's like a benediction. God is not testing, because even the Bible says to not test God. Well, God wouldn't test you. But it's more so seeing where you stand, and you're in your walk with them. If you have it, would you, help somebody else out? Would you give it, in the storehouse?
That's what I'm trying to say. I feel like tithe and offering, you could go outside right now, right? I'm saying this, you can go outside right now, right? You go somewhere, then you see 3 homeless people. Then let's say you just go to the store, right? And then you buy all of them food. I feel like that is more meaningful than you going to church and you just give them your money and you just let them decide what they do. Because if you do it on your own, you know basically where your money going to, and you see it for your own self.
Even Paul himself said that the preachers or the laborers gotta be paid to eat through the gospel. They gotta eat, but misuse of the money.
I see too much. Me personally, I just see too much misuse. So I just be I'd rather just if I'm gonna do things like that, I just rather do it with people I know that it's gonna do right. And I could smell fishes everywhere. So it's I could smell phony. I might not say you phony, but I could smell phony, so I know how the business works.
I would say that there is misuse of funds at times, but that's only because of the human aspect of it, where money and power corrupts people, and we've seen that oftentimes, and that happens a lot in church. When I started to become a committee member, start to move up in the ranks in church, I started to hear and understand more. When you're not in committee, when you're on the outside, you hear the whispers and the rumors. Mm-hmm. When you're in the room, you hear the facts. And even being an elder, sometimes you hear a lot as well. I think the best thing we could do moving forward is putting the right people with the right skills in certain positions. You know, if someone is in banking, accounting, those are the people you put in treasury. You know, the people that know how to invest, you try to put honest people in there, and you try to have a check and balances. In regards to buying churches, I mean, small churches is very hard with tithes and offerings. Tithes is what goes to the conference. I guess their dues, because they're all under the conference, so they gotta pay homage. You know, my father always calls it the mafia. And the way they move is very similar. It's very similar, you know. Why you think on those special occasions we all put on the black suits with the white shirts, you know? Put on the mobster suits. So, you know, like, so in that sense, you could see where it's at. In regards to the offerings, the part that stays at the church, that goes to pay the expenses, the bills, the rent, or the mortgage, or whatever. And sometimes people give, sometimes they don't. You know, that's why they usually say try to give more to your local church than to give to the conference. But at times, people do feel like they are pressured to give money to the church. And some people feel like the church is put in place to keep people poor, as in there's some people that gives all their money to the church, and when it's time, they get nothing back. And that seems to be the sad story that you hear oftentimes. But I wouldn't blame it on God or the Bible. I would blame it on more so a structural problem, because there is corruption everywhere. So that's just something that you got to deal with. When you take God out and you put it more about man, and we have an issue with that, even in the estate community, where someone is a pastor or any prestigious position, they tend to treat them differently than other people, sometimes even better. And then that causes a rift between the members, and some people might feel like they're disrespected and whatnot. So these are things that we deal with all the time. It's the politics, you know? And you deal with it not only in church, but at work and at school and everywhere else. There's people, period. Because that's just a human thing, I feel like. In regards to church, like, that's just... Maybe this had to happen for us to really know how to be one with God. Not only in a building where you just faking the funk, but to really show your faith outside of the four walls.
True. Like I said, you know, in a nutshell with that, like I said, the church is not a building, the church, we are the church. And like I said, you know, in the midst of this situation that happened last year, and that's still ongoing, there are churches that, you know, like I said, there are churches who have not stepped up, who have failed their members terribly and miserably. You know what I'm saying? Don't call, don't check in, don't put groceries in, you know, in a family who's struggling at this epidemic. You know, those, you know, when things get back to normal, those who have not called, those who have not checked in, those pastors who have not been accountable for their members or elders, I don't know what to tell you. But the ones like I can name names like, you know, Jamal Bryant, I can respect his ministry, Mike Todd, and the list goes on and on. Dr. Bird, a lot of serious pastors, Myron Edmonds, the list could go on and on, who really about their members, made sure the church had groceries, made sure they looked out, they supported, they was accountable, responsible. Their churches are going to grow tremendously. Tremendously. Because at the end of the day, the church is more than just coming to a building. It's about, you know, building each other, supporting each other, encouraging each other, loving each other, especially situations like this that has gone on. And that's what it is. And that's the reality of it. And that's how I look at it.
Which brings me back to your question earlier, like, what can we do? I think we need to bring Christ to the community.
That's it.
That's what we need to do.
That's it.
Bringing him out there, because
that's it.
You know, say whether we go to church on Saturdays or Sundays, whenever we go, like, it's not enough to just stand behind the pulpit. We're having this conversation earlier. It's just like open the Bible. David says, "Thy words I will insert in my heart, that I may not sin against you." Now, if we have the word in us, it's not simply to not sin against God. But it's also to serve people. You know, like, and I think we often get our priorities wrong. You know, they're not straight enough. Where we're building, you know, mega churches. We're really trying to have big churches in a poor community. and which is a problem.
Yeah.
Now, what about the support groups? What about like these black folks dying out there? Black parents, black youth like myself. I'm only 22 years old, and I'm experiencing all these. Like, I'm thinking, what about my, the future generation, my kids? What am I going to tell them? These things. So I think this is where the church has kind of sort of failed the community by trying to focus more on the building itself. And like you're saying, we're the body.
Yeah, with the body.
It's not like the actual building. Like, we need to focus and work on ourselves, our hearts.
That's right. And like I said, going back to what you're saying, my brother, there's churches who have done the work, bro. Like I said, going out of Alabama and just, I would see Dr. Bird doing what he's doing. I had to just congratulate him, because that's very commendable. He's in his community. He's involved in his community. The churches that have, kudos to you. The churches that have not, when things open up, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it is what it is,
I think Mike Todd gave like $2 million.
Yeah, Mike Todd gave $100,000 to my man Clifford Gray because he did a song of him. Like, he's giving out money, and he's very heavy in community. Like he's animate on that.
But you gotta have it to give it.
I understand. I get it. You feel me? But the point is, at the end of the day, like, those who do have it, really have it, they have made a difference in their community and made sure that their church members, they're good. That they have groceries. Like, that's fundamental. Like, what I'm saying? Like, how is it that you're doing all these Zoom revivals, which I'm not knocking, but like, the people who's watching, they don't even have like something to eat in the house. Like, there's a disconnect here. Like, you feel me? But like, these guys who are getting money, like Mike Todd or Steve Fournette, they have stepped up in regards to really looked out for their community, and they looked out for their church, and that has to be commendable. And that's how people are gravitating more and more to their churches and everything like that.
Last year, my church gave every member, every family, $200, and that came out to about $20,000.
That's commendable.
Because we got about 200.
That's commendable.
But they did that because there was so much people calling and asking that they just gave everyone one time so they wouldn't have to give anymore.
But that's
way more disrespectful than what we just got.
to each his own. At the end of the day, man, you gotta just commend people. Like I said, is these situations that shows you, it's like this. It's like, friendships, like situations, trial and tribulations shows you who's for you and who's against you. That's all that it is. And this situation has exposed who has the fruit of the Spirit and who has the fruit of Fruity Pebbles. So people, at the end of the day, it is what it is, bro. It is what it is. Like, you can't.
The fruit of Fruity Pebbles?
Yeah, the fruit of the Spirit.
That means next sermon.
Or fruit snacks. But it's the fruit of the Spirit. You can tell.
Fruity?
The point is the fruit of the Spirit. Because the thing is, it tastes like the real thing, but it's not the real thing. It's artificial. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, peace, joy. That's how you know. Like, that's how you know. Like, yo, bro, like, calling to somebody, like for example, situations like what happened earlier for COVID. Like, just like calling people to see how they're doing. That counts for something. I remember when a couple of my friends who had COVID. You feel me?
They had COVID?
They had COVID. It don't matter.
Are they okay?
They had COVID, and like, just calling to every day to make sure that they good and they okay. That counts for something.
Yeah, that's a good job.
That counts for something. Like, you not calling somebody not calling you or checking up on you. They call themselves a Christian. I don't know what to tell you. You can't school an adult who calls himself a Christian how to show love. You feel me? It's like, that's their experience with God and everything like that.
I think everyone shows love differently, because I'm not the kind of person that's, to be honest, I'm not the kind of person that's gonna call every member of my youth.
I'm not talking about that, bro. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about in regards to. I'm not talking about that, bro. That's irrelevant. I'm talking about like what you've done. That's commendable. I'm talking about like, just don't care at all.
Okay.
Not concerned at all. You feel me? Like, it's not like shots at the end of the day. You did your part. Like, you gave. You constantly giving. You're constantly giving. You're constantly motivating. Kind of inspiring. You did your part, bro. Like, we all did our part, bro. I'm talking about for those who didn't. I don't know what to tell you. That's you and God that you gotta talk about. People who don't want to join your church, that's your business. Yeah. Just so that you wasn't concerned about a person's well-being. You just wanted their money. But for those who stepped up, kudos to you. and they're growing. They're growing. You feel me? And they grow, and people still giving to their ministry, to their church, because they're giving back to the community and they're giving back to the people in their church.
One last thing I want to say before we go into closing thoughts. Last year during a very, I would say a very trying time, during a pandemic, during a recession or depression, whatever you want to say, under a Republican, quote-unquote, racist, bigot president, the real word flourished. So shout out to everybody that supported. Shout out to everybody that helped us. We did a lot of things last year.
That's a fact. Commendable.
So we want to thank everyone that had helped us and that had supported.
Commendable.
And like I was saying before, we was ahead of the curve because we already had a live show. You know, we was already on Facebook Live and YouTube. We was already doing Zooms
pre-COVID.
So you know, other people now catching up. We see your little Instagram live shows and your Facebook live shows. Just know who was here first, you know?
That's a fact.
Numbers don't lie, over 3 million views.
That's a fact.
So, you know, we just want to say, like, this year, you know, we're in the first quarter right now. Y'all seen what we did in the fourth quarter last year. So, you know, right now in the first quarter, we just setting up the groundwork for everything that we're going to do. Like I was telling all my boys, the goal is for everybody to hit $1 million before the end of the year. And we're truthful about this. If we aim for $1 million, at least if we hit 100,000, it's not that bad, you know. It's an okay year. So, shout out to everyone that just has been helping, everyone that has been supporting, everyone that has just helped us build this brand. In regards to what's going on outside, I feel like I always tell people this: I've never voted a day in my life, and probably might not never, because to me, every day I wake up, I know I gotta go outside and get it. Ain't nobody gonna I don't live hand to foot, as in someone handing me food for me to put to my mouth so they could put a foot to my behind. So I'm good.
That's a fact.
Like, I don't mind going out and hustling, you know. If this was back in the day, caveman days, I'll be a hunter, not a gatherer. So it is what it is. So the way I'm looking at it right now, I feel like you just gotta get back on your hustle. You know, there's ways to make money because there were billionaires that were made last year, you know?
Facts.
And it wasn't one, and it wasn't two, and it wasn't three. It was a few. So,
Zoom skyrocketed.
Yeah, for COVID, yeah.
Zoom. Facts. First couple of months.
Facts, dog. It is what it is, but you gotta go get it, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta go get it and just, you know, you gotta go there. Like I said, prior before him coming into the equation, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, in regards to what you're commendable, you feel me? You gotta get it. You gotta get your money. You gotta do it yourself, bro. Cause at the end of the day, bro, you can tell people, listen, people could see what you're doing. They see what you're doing, bro. But sometimes, for whatever preconceived notion that they have, they be in their own world. So you gotta get it yourself and do it yourself and connect with people yourself, bro. And it works that way, bro. You can't really persuade people to be on the same type of time you on when they don't even believe in themselves. You feel me? People don't believe in themselves. How you gonna convince them if they don't believe in themselves? So you gotta get it yourself, do it yourself, and tell a story. But like, yo, bro, God connect me, God connect me with God connect me with that, and after that, you put brothers who's in your position to be in position, and that's how I look at it.
You also
bro.
gotta be careful with these people too. If you got some negative thoughts, you know, we can be cool. I say hi to you.
Yeah,
you know,
keep it
but I
pushing,
can't
yeah.
let your negativity just.
Yeah, that's a fact.
from me,
That's a
you know?
fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you gotta just
So closing thoughts, gentlemen?
Everything in life comes with a price. No.
Man, like I said, just stay consistent, stay faithful, and just put God first and
Definitely.
build your community. That's all it's about.
Well, I'm gonna say follow me on IG at Berventainment. And also big shout out to you guys. You guys are phenomenal. And I think ever since you guys started, or maybe when I started like following you guys on there, you know, you guys have been doing the toy drive, turkey, all that stuff. Every holiday you guys are blessing people.
More than
And
free turkey.
shoot.
Only are you serious?
I know, right? But thank you, I know she did. Mom be having turkeys for days. But nah, you guys are like, you know, you guys are killing it, and I really pray that God continues to bless your ministry, bro. You know, Rickard, Pastor Sanders, and my boy Acee, Irving. If it ain't 11, it's not me. I'll be watching the show like this guy. Nah, but definitely, and I truly appreciate you guys for having me, and I most definitely, you know, look forward to joining you guys once more.
Facts.
No 11, no bueno.
No, but
No bueno. So for me, my closing thought is just, you know, like Pastor Cameau said, be consistent, but I would say like support one another.
yes.
Because I know I couldn't do none of this alone. It was just teamwork, and God ordering my steps and helping me to connect with certain individuals that would help me to reach the ultimate goal. The question that I started a thesis on is, what legacy would you like to leave? And that was a question that I had to ask myself when I started all of this, And, when I'm gone, hopefully the real word is still here, and people will carry on the baton and make it bigger than I could have ever made it. And, we just continue to assist those that, are homeless, that are poor, that are suffering, that, is just looking for salvation. And that's what we're going to try to do. And we can't do it without your assistance. So, you can always donate. Cashapp at The Real Word Inc. At The Real Word Inc. on Cashapp, $ The Real Word Inc. You can always donate on PayPal. GoFundMe, The Real Word. We verified on PayPal. We verified on GoFundMe. Also check out our website at www.therealwordministriesinc.org. That's therealwordministriesinc.org. Subscribe to the YouTube at The Real Word TV. One word, The Real Word TV. And that's all. You want to close out with a prayer for us?
Yeah, it was definitely. All right. Gracious God, we thank you. We give you praise and honor that only you deserve, God. Thank you for being with us all throughout this day, and thank you for these 18 days that we've spent so far in 2021. God, here we are in Real Word Ministry. We're asking you to please continue to bless these gentlemen as they continue to do the work and blessing people out there. May you be a light to their path, God, so that they can continue to flourish. And be with us, watch over us, bless the night for us. In Jesus' name I do pray.
Amen. Amen, amen, amen. So we'll be here next week, and we see you then. Good night and God bless.
It's the real word. It's the real